Modern women and their irrational fear of submission.
Let's debate.
So, let me explain what I mean by submission. Submission is accepting to be under the authority of. So you submit to something, to an authority. And what I'm talking about, or what I want to talk about, is the modern women's irrational fear of submission in romantic relationships, and specifically long-term romantic relationships like marriage. Let me give you examples of where we submit, both men and women, in our daily life. At the workplace. If at the workplace you are told that you need to report here at 8 a.m., what do? You are there at 8.
That's what I'm talking about.
There is a repercussion for you failing to submit. There is actual consequences for you if you fail to submit. You see, at the workplace, you agree when you sign a contract. You agree. So it is something which you are agreeing to be under the authority of. Right? So when you append your signature on that contract agreement, you are saying, I agree to the rules and regulations of this organization. I will do my duties and responsibilities, and when I perform my bit, then the organization is going to compensate me this much. So it is a give and take kind of an engagement where I willingly submit and they willingly pay me for what I'm doing, right? Let's look at this situation where nobody has asked you, so you have no choice, and that comes to the laws of the land. Let's look at taxes, right? Nobody asked me whether or not I want to pay these taxes. It is the law. So if I don't pay these taxes, if I do not submit to the law that requires me to report and submit my taxes, I can go to jail.
Can we man up for once?
And that is something I did not consent to, but I am expected to submit. Everyone is expected to submit. And I'm not seeing people out on the streets, protesting, saying that, you know what, I did not agree to this word of the law. I did not agree to pay these taxes. I'm not doing it. This is illegal. This is against human rights because I am being compelled. But when it comes to marriages, when it comes to long-term romantic relationships, women want to suddenly start reacting like, oh my God, what is this submission nonsense? No. You've been submitting.
Fuck you talking about?
You've been submitting under your father's household. When your father said, I do not want you to get into this house past this time, you made sure that you are there at that time. And if you are not there at that time, you knew that there were repercussions, so you submitted. And when you did not submit, there were consequences. So, modern women, why are we pretending that this is a new thing? When you are at work, you submit to your boss. When your boss says, hey, excuse me, Eunice, come here. I don't like the way you're working here. What's wrong with this report? Can you go and redo this report? What do you say? Yes, sir. So you submit at the workplace. When you are driving and a traffic cop stops you, what do? You stop. So modern women want to submit on every other thing. But this long-term relationship, which they got into willingly.
You stupid.
They're not.
What's 9 plus 10?
21.
You stupid.
Laws, organization policies, at least to some extent, organization policies, you say, you know what? Yeah, it was in the, I looked at the HR document before I went there, it was there, man, what can you do? Even if they change policies when you are still within the organization, and you have to follow those policies, it's either you get out, so you quit, or you follow those policies, you submit to them. So I don't understand why modern women want to pretend that submission is something new to them.
This is really embarrassing.
At the workplace, there is no, I will only come at 8 a.m. if the boss comes at 8 a.m. There is nothing like that at the workplace. There is nothing like, you know what, I will submit my report if my boss does this. No. You submit the report. You meet your targets. Irrespective of what the boss is doing or what any other employee is doing, you do what you are expected to do. But when it comes to marriage, when it comes to romantic relationships, it's like, I can only submit if my guy...
What that got to do with me? What that got to do with me?
It's like, what sort of nonsense is that? Marriage is not a must. Marriage is not a must. It's not a must that you get married more than women. Women, it is not a requirement for life that you get married. You will not die if you don't get married. But then if you get married, then you need to realize that there are rules, there are policies, there are regulations, there are behaviors which are expected of you as a wife in a marriage. And there is nothing like modern marriage. That's an oxymoron. Marriage is a traditional concept. Marriage is a traditional concept. Okay? But the legalization of marriage is what is a modern concept. But marriage itself is a traditional concept. Okay, so women, you don't have to get married, right? You don't have to. You can have a domestic partnership where you guys are partners and where now you sit down and you write down what is expected of each one of you. But if you get into a marriage, the rules and regulations have already been drafted thousands of years ago, and you're not coming in to start and, you know, tweaking this, tweaking. No, if you start tweaking it, that's not a marriage. It's like where in those people who use models for work, for example. If the model says you do step A, which is going to lead you to step B, and then at step B you do this, this, and this, and then which will take you to step 3, where this, and this is expected, and then you go to step all that. So that's a model. So if you come in and you're like, no, I don't like step 2, you remove the step 2. So you're no longer using the model. You're doing your own things. So you cannot then come and say, you know what, that model does not work. No. You are not using that model. So you are not using marriage model when you come in and start tweaking. So what you're doing a domestic partnership or whatever nonsense that you're doing. All right? So modern women, let's be clear. You don't have to get married. And then you get into marriage, nobody's coercing you to get married. Nobody's forcing you into marriage. So you're getting married as an adult, as somebody who has their faculties in order. Faculties. You have your faculties in order. That's why you're getting married, right? So when you get married, it is expected of a woman to submit to the authority of the man. So don't get married to a man whose authority you don't respect. You see how simple it is? I don't respect Mwega. I don't respect him. I don't like his hair. I don't like his face. I don't like the way he looks. I don't like how he walks. I don't like how he talks. So don't get married to Mwega. Go get married to Brayo. Go get married to Jonte. Go get married to whoever who you can look up to, who you think or you perceive to be at a higher level than you, because you submit to something which is at a higher level or something of higher authority. So in a marriage, if you look, whether you look at the traditional concept or the religious concept, in a marriage the man was always at a higher authority. Right? So si lazima uolewe modern women, si lazima. So you can always do you. You can be a baby mama, by the way. You can just be a baby mama and you add to the statistics of single women, and then you can go saying men ain't trash, men ain't shit, and all that nonsense. Right? That has been what I want to talk about. So subscribe to the channel if you like the content. Like, share, comment on this video. Over. See you in the next one.